Hey guys, and welcome to or back to the Paws in Pursuit podcast with your host, Summer Clark. So before we jump into today's episode, for any of you watching on YouTube right now, I apologise for looking like this. I'm going out tonight, so in my brain I was like, you know what? There's no point in me trying to look presentable or, anything in particular for pretty much any of the day until I get ready to go out later on. So that is my excuse for being in a bit of a kind of look like I'm just rolled out of bed, chilling. But anyway, today I thought that I would do a podcast episode all about everything you need to know before your first agility show. So in my blind Q&A last week, which I hope you all loved, I did get some good feedback on that, so thank you very much. I had quite a few people wanting to know, tips for your first show, what to take, what to be on the lookout for, and what to expect and stuff like that. And I did think, actually, a lot of my audience might actually be people that haven't actually competed yet. They look at my content, my competing content, to see what to expect and get a bit of inspiration and insight into competing. So if that is you, then listen up. And if you've already competed, then listen up anyway, because there might be some more hacks that I have done that make a competing day just run smoother, take the pressure off, take the stress off, make it more enjoyable. Because to be honest, at the end of the day, as I've talked about before, happy handler means happy dog. So if we're relaxed and the day is flowing well and we're in a good mood and we're not stressed and we're not frustrated because the day has not gone very well, or we're rushing in the morning, if we're in a good state of mind because of all these things I'm about to talk about, then our runs with our dog are probably going to go a hell of a lot better, because our dogs will pick up on that from us. So let's get straight into it. So number one is look at the ring plan as soon as it is released. So it's nice to be prepared. I am awful at this now. I literally will look at the ring plan the day before the show, the night before the show. I'll be sat at work on my 3 till 9 p.m. shift, on my break at 6, 7 p.m. and I will look at the ring plan for the next day, and I will set my alarm, and that is how I know when I'm going to be getting up to go in the morning. However, if you are just starting to compete, I would highly recommend not being like me and looking at it as soon as it is released. So you will get an email from your show processor, whether that's Agility Plaza, First Place Processing, anything like that. They're the two main ones. I think First Place Processing is not going to be a thing anymore soon. I think it's all Agility Plaza, which is great. I do love Agility Plaza. It's super easy to use. But you will get an email maybe a week or two before. I think it's 2 weeks, actually, because I just got the Nottingham one through, and that's 2 weeks this weekend, yeah. So about 2 weeks before the show, you'll get your information from the show processor. So look at that ring plan straight away, just so you know roughly when you'll be on in the day. And obviously compare that to the schedule. So when it says the show's gonna open, so when you can arrive from, then when the briefing will be. So that's usually when it starts walking, so like 8:15, and then it starts at 8:30. So if I'm on first, I will always get there at 8. I will get there before 8, actually, because I plan 15 minutes extra travel time. So I usually end up getting there about 7:45 ideally. And then they often start walking before the briefing, which is 8:15. So, course walking is usually somewhere between 8 and 8:15 for most shows, and then they start at 8:30. I'm going off on a tangent and covering questions that I haven't even got to yet. But yeah, look at that ring plan straight away, screenshot it on your phone or print it out depending on what you prefer. I'm assuming most of you would prefer looking at it digitally on your phone than printing it out, and it's easier to access at all times. There's nothing worse than when this all used to be on paper and I would just lose it, or it'd get wet and scrunched up and I couldn't read it, and no, not good. So screenshot that just so you know what's coming, and then you've got the next 2 weeks to sort of prepare, not just physically time wise but mentally as well. What class you'll be in. You can have a look at the class number. It all just helps to make it feel more real and just help you prepare for it. So number 2 is familiarize yourself with the schedule. So that's what I've just kind of covered. So schedule I've already just covered. Show opening time, briefing, course walking, and start time. It may vary from show to show, so always double check, but usually the times I just stated are the general kind of schedule for most shows. So you've got your ring layout as well, so you want to see where the rings are in the venue. So you'll get a venue plan, and it will say where the day parking is, for example, and obviously coming off the main road, how you get into the venue, and if there's signs and stuff, and then how to get to the day parking from that road, the entrance to the venue that you'll drive in. Then obviously it'll tell you where the rings are with numbers. Camping, if you're camping, it'll show you where to camp. Obviously camping's a completely different thing. I don't know if anyone would camp at their very first agility show ever, but if you do, you'd probably get there the night before anyway. So again, same thing. Just look at all the camping stuff, all the camping documents as soon as you get sent them, so you know exactly what to do and how to deal with that situation. And the ring plan will also, the schedule will also give you where the exercise area is, which is super important because you'll want to walk your dog around, toilet your dog, warm yourself and your dog up. This is a really good area to do that because it's a big open field. So even if there's a few people in it, you know, one person has one corner, one has the other, you know, you're usually not crammed in with loads of other people. So this is a great time to get yourself and your dog in the zone. You know, instead of doing it necessarily right next to the ring, where there's other dogs running and dogs and handlers sort of walking to and from around you, where your dog and you could get distracted and more stressed, the exercise area is a great place to do that. And so this will tell you where it is. And then toilets as well, really important that you know where you can go to the toilet, because there's literally nothing worse, and this has happened to me so many times, than where you start queuing for a run and you booked in, so there's no going back, and you start needing the toilet, or you realise you need the toilet and you're like, great, I'm not going to run as well now because I need the toilet. So yeah, toilets, you'll know where they all are, so you can plan, you know, or maybe I'll walk this course and then go to the toilet, which is here. So it's probably like a 5-minute walk, looking at how far it is, so you don't have to rush. And then number 3 is, this is really important. So plan your journey and allow at least 15 minutes of extra travel time. So again, when you first get the ring plan and the schedule and all of the information about the show that you're going to, you can get the postcode, the name of the venue, whack it in your sat nav. Often on the schedule there'll be directions off the main roads, like I say, because sometimes the sat nav will take you to just a random place that's not actually the venue, but it's in the area. So make sure you read any extra sat nav directions on that schedule when you get them, and just allow at least 15 minutes minimum. If it was your first show, maybe more, maybe half an hour, depending on how early you want to get up and how long you take to get ready. I like to have an hour from waking up to leaving the house. I'm just a slow person, what can I say? So you know how much time you'll need in the morning between getting up, getting ready, and leaving. But obviously as well, another tip is to get all your stuff ready the night before. So it's all there laid out and you don't have to get up and panic. And also you can maybe have a bit more time in bed and you're going to be more rested and you're probably going to run better. So prepare everything before the actual day is basically what I'm saying. But yeah, when you set off, leave at least 15 minutes, maybe half an hour on your first show. It's personal preference, obviously. But leave extra time just in case something goes wrong, just in case you need to stop off for the toilet, petrol. But again, try to have enough petrol in your vehicle before the actual day, obviously, but still. Or often traffic, an accident, a road closure, diversions, stuff like that. You need to allow that extra time, so you definitely make it on time to walk your course. Again, nothing worse, especially on your first ever show where you miss course walking. You don't miss the actual run-in, but you miss the course walking. And this has happened to me so many times, where you have to go and watch a load of other dogs run in the class and go very last and hope that by watching you got it in your head. It's really stressful. It has worked for me before, but it's unlikely to on your first show, so don't rely on that. That's a bad idea. Stressful, not nice, and it probably won't go right. It can, but, you know, put all the odds in your own favour, basically, is what I'm saying. So allow that extra time for travelling. Obviously, Google Maps will tell you when you get the schedule through, pop the postcode in Google Maps. It'll tell you how long it'll take. But another little hack, make sure you realise when you are looking at it as far as the time of day goes. So if you, on the day before at, say, 5 p.m, are looking at it, it's going to say a different thing to how it'll be at 6 a.m. the following morning. You know, if you're looking at it on a Thursday, it might be different to a Saturday and stuff like that. So just allow that extra time for all these little bits. Don't cut it close. There's no point. It'll just stress you out. So number 4, check the weather forecast and prepare for all weathers. So wear and pack appropriate clothing. So if it says it's going to be really hot, take your shorts. You know, I would say like wear shorts and a vest and then have joggers and a hoodie over it, for example, so you can, you know, layer up, I would say. Layers are great because you are literally dressed for every single weather then. But obviously if it says it's going to be freezing and rainy, then wear long leggings, wear your long tops, stuff like that, jackets, etc., raincoats, dogs' raincoats, stuff like that as well. However, the weather forecast can be wrong, so prepare for all weathers. Like I said, even in the summer, I will take Arrow's fleece and raincoat with me. I'll take my own raincoat. I'll take my big North Face puffer coat, because you just never know. And also, if you end up breaking down like on the way or way back in the car, then you'll probably, need something warm. Again, it depends what time of year it is. Only you know what time of year you're competing at. And, if you looked at the forecast, that can help you sort of gauge what it'll be like. But yes, pack clothes for all weathers for you and your dog. You just always need to do that, and don't just take your running shoes, take wellies as well, just in case it's muddy, because you don't know, especially if you've never been to the venue before. And just prepare for all outcomes, weather and temperature wise, just so that you are not uncomfortable, because if you've only taken thick joggers and, a thick hoodie, or a thick thermal long sleeve top that you literally cannot take off without it being illegal, and it ends up being really warm and sunny, you're going to be really uncomfortable running, and you're probably not going to run at your best, and it can be dangerous. So just take everything, same as if you go in shorts and a vest, and don't take anything else, thinking it'll be hot, and it actually is really breezy at that particular venue. You're going to be really uncomfortable. Your muscles might get stiff, more prone to injury. So just be sensible with what you wear and what you pack clothing-wise. And number 5 is arrive early. So I've kind of already covered this. You want to arrive nice and early, allow enough time to park, go to the toilet, walk your dog and make sure your dog's toileted and used to the venue. Explore the venue again, so you know where everything is, because yes, it does say it does have a ring layout on the schedule. However, it is often completely different in the actual venue. Like, things can look closer on the ring plan than they actually are when you get to the physical venue. So don't rely just on that. Get there in plenty of time to have a walk around the venue with your dog, and just familiarise yourself, know where everything is, know where the rings that you need to focus on are. That's another thing. If you're not in some rings, cross them off your ring plan. Don't even think about them. Just look at the rings that you're in. And Agility Plaza also already does this for you. So there's an option, I think it's automatic actually, where it only shows your rings, which is super helpful. It stops your brain overloading. You don't need to think about anything but where you're going. And yeah, find your rings. So arrive early so you can do all that before you run. Especially if it's your first show, you want to arrive leave at least half an hour to do that, really. Like I said, 15 minutes to half an hour at the least. I'd say you don't need more than an hour, but you definitely need at least 15 minutes. So it's up to you, but I would definitely leave that time. I leave 15 minutes now, but if it's your first show, yeah, probably more like half an hour to an hour. So just think about that. And then number 6 is walk the course as soon as it is ready. So this gives yourself enough time to try different handling options and make your mind up on the handling option that you are going to go for. So as soon as they say course is walking, get in there and do it. Again, there's nothing worse than thinking I've only got like 3 minutes to walk this course, and you can only handle one option. And then when you actually run it, you end up in the wrong place and you don't have a plan B. When I walk a course, I love to have plan B and even C. So if I don't make a blind or something happens or Arrow goes the wrong way around something, I know exactly how to handle that. So that's probably why you see me in the ring walking it like a million times when most people walk it like 5 times. Yes, I do know where I'm going after 5 times, but I like to walk different handling options. So that's super important. You'll often see that people are sort of waiting at the ring as the course is being set up, so that you can have a look where the judge is putting the numbers. When the judge measures with the measuring wheel, you can sort of watch where they go, so you know where the course is going before you even walk it. So just get there, put everything you've got into it. Don't do anything half-heartedly, and just take advantage basically and spend as much time you can getting that course in your head and knowing your handling options. If you've got your trainer, a groom or a friend there, you could always ask them to walk it with you if it's your first show. I would be happy to walk courses with people if I was free at a show and they wanted me, they wanted my help with handling options. So just ask someone if you want a bit of assistance. And then number 8 is warm yourself and your dog up before you run. Oh no, sorry, I've just missed one off. Number 7, is make use of your groom if you have one. So I just mentioned groom. So obviously my mum goes to every show with me. She is my groom. So you can ask them to walk your dog around and cue for you whilst you walk the course. So if you have 2 runs that are near each other, then you could ask your groom to warm your dog up while you're walking the course and get in the queue ready, so that when course walking ends, you're like at the front of the queue, so you can get it done. This is especially helpful if queuing makes you or your dog nervous, or if you have another run pretty much straight after that one. And just on that note as well, if you have clashes, which has happened to me so many times and will definitely happen again, go to one of the rings, explain to one of the members of the ring party, usually the person booking in, and just say, look, I'm in this ring, can you book me in late? And they should wait for you, so it's not the end of the world. Again, sometimes it's just how it is that you do have to rush, and it does end up being a bit stressful, but hopefully it doesn't happen often, but it definitely can and probably will. But don't be afraid of it, just book in late to one, and as far as course walking goes, just spread your time out evenly, 5 minutes in one, 5 minutes in the other, and then back, and then if you have more time, back to the other. Do you get what I mean? Stuff like that. So just try and distribute your efforts into both equally, and then, like I said, choose one to get your groom in the queue straight away, and then the other one you can go at the end of the class. So yeah, and then if often I will get my mum to walk Arrow around when I'm warming myself up, so I'll be doing all my physical warm-up exercises and watching the course and getting in my zone. Then I'll go back to my groom and Arrow's already walked around. Then I'll do my proper warm-up with him where I do some exercises and get us ready. So make use of your groom if you have one there. Again, you don't need a groom. I've gone to shows by myself plenty of times and it's absolutely fine. But if you do have one, it is helpful. But yeah, you definitely don't need one, but you can utilise them. Don't forget they're there. That's what they're there for, hopefully. Ask them nicely, obviously, but yeah, get them to do some things if it will make it easier for you. And then number 8 is warm yourself and your dog up before you run. This is so important. If you haven't already watched my episode about handler fitness and nutrition with Chris Curtin, quite a few episodes back, go watch that because we do cover warm-ups and cool-downs, but that is so important. Not only physically does it make sure that you and your dog are ready and you can run faster, because if you have stiff muscles and cold muscles, you will A, maybe injure yourself or your dog, or B, just not be able to run as fast or change direction as fast. Think of plasticine. If it's a rock solid ball and it's hard, then it's slower to move around in your hands. But once you mold it and get it warmed up in your hands, then it can stretch in all directions. So that is super important. But not only physically, warming up helps you to mentally get yourself and your dog in the zone by running through some simple exercises. So with Arrow, I'll walk him round, walk us both round, and then, do some, not massage, but rubbing over his body, getting the blood flowing to his shoulders, his quads, his back, is down his legs, stuff like that, around his neck. Again, another episode plug here. I did an episode about physiotherapy for sports dogs with Megan Hunt a few episodes back that you can go have a look at, and we covered warm-ups and cool-downs as well, but more of the, obviously physio side of it, but that was super helpful. And then I'll do exercises such as, just left and right turns for his ball, leg weaves, stuff like that, dynamic movements like that. For him. And then for me, I'll do stuff like jumping up and down on the spot, jogging on the spot, leg swings, stuff like that. So that is warming up, super important. And number 9 is know your running order. This is on the show processor, so it's right there. Usually on Agility Plaza, it literally says it all the time. Like if you're looking at the ring plan, it'll say your running order, and then it'll say your result afterwards as well, which is quite cool. Your result and your time. So make sure you know this. It's nothing worse than the person coming to you and you're thinking, oh God, I don't know what it is. And you're that person that has to go, just say your name, and then they have to scroll through and look for you. Or if you get the wrong number and they're like, I don't know, if I say the wrong number and they're like, Claire Smith, I'm like, no, I don't have a clue who that is. That's not me. It just adds, it's not the end of the world if that happens, and it happens to us all. But, just to reduce anything going wrong at all that could avert your attention away from actually running the course, just know your running order for that ring, have that in your head, and then, that makes it a lot simpler. And also, you just don't want to risk having your name put down as someone else, because that could result in a rerun or, you know, the wrong results, which is upsetting and stuff like that. So know your running orders, but like I said, they're on the show processor, they're right there, they're easily accessible, shouldn't be a problem. Tell your groom what it is as well. I always tell my mum, and I have a terrible memory, so if I'm thinking about something else for a little while, I'll be like, oh, what did I say my running order was? And my mum will be like, 77 or something. So there is that. Number 10 is tell the lead person. So for any of you that don't know, the lead person is the person who's working on the ring party that will come and collect your lead off you and your dog as you make your way to the start line. And then they will put it at the end of the course, the other side of the score tent in the middle, where you can collect it once you've run. And you can give them your reward as well. I don't do this. I personally take Arrow's ball to the end myself a few dogs before I run and show them where it is. I like to make sure I know where it is, because it's super important to me that he gets it straight away as soon as we come out, and he knows that it's there as well. So you could do that if you want, but if not, tell the lead person where you want your lead and reward to be placed if required. You know, if you have a dog that potentially might see its reward midway around a course, or if there's a part of the course where your dog is right facing, say going over a jump to where the leads are, but then has to turn back, you could say, oh, could you just put my lead and reward in a bucket or behind the tent or somewhere out of sight. So just make sure that they know where you want everything to be put. But usually, like I said, it's a basket or a bucket at the end. But yeah, for me, it's just leads. I always put Arrow's ball where I want it to be, and then they just take my leads and put it in the bucket or the basket. So number 11 is relax and enjoy. I know this is such a cliche tip, but treat every run as valuable experience. The more relaxed you are, the more the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed your dog will be, and therefore, you know, you're going to be more in training mode, which is generally where it goes right. Am I right? That always is the case. People are like, why can my dog do that in training and not competition? Probably because you're a little bit stressed, and I still get stressed. Obviously, there's only so much, like you're always going to feel different in a competition to training, but you want to minimize that as much as possible. So yeah, just treat it as valuable experience. Remember, it's your first show, just enjoy it. You're not going to get everything right on your very first show, and if you do, well done. Proud of you. That's great. You're amazing. But it's not necessarily gonna all go perfectly, because, you know, you don't know exactly what to expect. So you'll just get better. You know, as you do more shows, you and your dog will get better. You'll get used to the environment, stuff like that. You'll know how it works, how the day runs, and it will all just get better with time. So for your very first agility show, just enjoy it and treat it as experience, and just keep it in the back of your mind that it is only up from here. So that is super promising. So number 12, for God's sake, reward your dog. And this sounds so obvious, but the amount of people I have seen leave the ring after a run that's not been the best or not been clear or the winning thing, and the handler's like, ugh, and really mardy, and they don't reward their dog, which is horrendous, because our dogs don't know why they're not getting their reward. You know, we ask it of them. So reward your dog. Have a great time. You know, come out the ring, even if it went wrong. You know, give your dog its reward. You want your dog to think of competing and agility in general as this amazing experience. You do not want your dog to dislike it or become nervous or anxious or bored, because that can lead to all sorts of training problems. So just keep it a happy experience. This ties into the last tip about relaxing and enjoying the experience. But just reward your dog, like really highly jackpot reward your dog when you come out the ring. And that's going to build a great association between competing and getting a reward and having a great time for your dog, which is super important in the long run. And just don't be horrible. You know, you have to reward your dog. Like, come on. So that is pretty simple. Have a party when you come out the ring, because you did it at the end of the day. Number 13 is cool yourself and your dog down after your run. Again, go check out the podcast with Chris Curtin and then the one with Megan Hunt about cool downs. But, you know, this helps you just to wind down and prepare to rest. So how this works is, you know, after you've done lots of exercise, your muscles will be sort of pumped, buzzing. There'll be a lactic acid buildup. You want to, like, get that out of your muscles and your dog's muscles. So by cooling down, like walking around, again, stroking down your dog's muscles and stuff like that will just help to eliminate that buildup. And then your dog can sort of, you know, chill out then and recover for the next run. But if you go from sprinting around to just nothing, again, your muscles will get tight. That lactic acid buildup will stay in there and make your muscles tight, which you do not want. So make sure to cool down. I do stretches as well. So, all the different stretches, static stretches. So, calf stretches, hamstring stretches, quad stretches, glute stretches, stuff like that I do for me. And then just have a little walk around and back to the car, and just kind of do that with your dog as well. So like rub them down gently and stuff. And that is pretty much a cool down. And it also gets you, because obviously when you're running in a competition, and in general really, when you're doing agility or anything sort of highly strung, so anything that uses a lot of adrenaline and provokes a lot of adrenaline in your systems, then you want to calm your mind down as well, because you don't want to just stop afterwards with your mind still buzzing, because then you'll struggle to rest. You want to sort of just get out of the zone a little bit, calm down, and then you can sort of rest and recharge mentally as well as physically. So number 14 is use your time in between runs to rest and recuperate for your next run. So again, this is different at every show, but utilize the time in between runs to go back to the car, sit there, chill out, read a book, watch a video, anything like that. Have your dog in a shaded area, in his crate in the car, with water, stuff like that. And this will sort of recuperate you both physically and mentally for your next run. If you're super active in between runs, then you're probably going to tire yourself out, and by your last run you're going to be knackered. Obviously some shows like KCI Dogs in Need, they're more like my agility holidays, so I will be out and about, mixing with people, seeing friends, going around stalls, stuff like that, which is fine. But just take it into consideration, especially when you're not used to it at your very first agility show. Just use that time, make sure you are nice and rested, as rest reduces stress as well. So 15 is stay fueled and hydrated throughout the day. So the same goes for your dog. Again, water, water, water. Keep offering your dog water, especially if it's really hot or sunny. That's super important. You as well. I know it can be easy to forget to drink throughout a day, especially a busy day, but don't. I have a hydro flask, so it's a big water bottle. I think it carries 2.2 litres, and I take that with me and I try and get through it by the end of the day. I drink about 2 litres a day, but at competitions you probably want a little bit more, hence the 0.2 maybe. But because you're active as well, you'll probably be sweating, and if it's warm as well. So just make sure you keep hydrated. Dehydration is horrible. You'll get brain fog. If you're dehydrated, you'll get headaches. You just won't be able to concentrate. You'll be tired and sluggish. So make sure you drink plenty of water and stay fueled. So pack lunch as well. So again, day before competition, pack lunch. I do this with breakfast as well. So I'll make my breakfast in the night before and have an overnight breakfast. I have my overnight protein cheesecake, which I do have I can't even talk, can I? Recipe on my Instagram that you can go look at. And that is a super filling breakfast to fuel me early in the morning. Then I take a snack. Then I take a lunch, so a pre-prepared lunch. You want all the nutrients in that. You want your protein, fats, carbs, stuff like that, to keep you fueled and energized throughout the day. And then I take another snack. And then if you're very far away, or you think the show's going to finish really late, then you could take something for tea too, but usually I just have that when I get home. But again, it depends on your circumstances, so make sure you stay fueled. Again, me and Chris covered a bit of that in our episode about handler fitness and nutrition, so go back and watch that. But nutrition is super important, and another thing I think a lot of people forget how important it is for their performance. So yeah, and make sure obviously your dog gets fed in the morning at their normal, I was going to say at their normal time, but no, earlier probably if you're getting up earlier for a show, because you want that to have digested. Again, another thing, don't eat just before you run, because you won't have digested it. You'll feel sick. You'll feel sluggish. So time your meals right as well, but stay fueled and hydrated. That's super important. On my Instagram, the new series I'm doing is Food and Fitness Friday, which is super exciting. So the first one that I posted on Friday is a what I eat in a day on a double training day at home. But I'm going to do one of those. I think I have done one of those for a competition before in a reel. I think I did ages ago, but I'll do more of those. So have a look at that if you want some inspiration about what to eat throughout the day to stay nice and fueled. So Last point is number 16, track your progress by recording your results in your agility record book. So once you get home, you can obviously pre-order it before you actually compete, but you can get an agility record book from the Kennel Club. It's on the Kennel Club website, and I use that to write down all my clear runs, should I say, that go towards progression, so go towards grading up, go towards warrant points. You can record absolutely all the information you need about that run, and it just helps you to keep track of your progress, see improvements, stuff like that, and yeah, keep track of your points. It was more important for me before when Crufts YKC classes could be qualified for through points. That's not the case anymore, but obviously I do track warrants. Arrow's got his platinum warrant, so we're on our way to our no, I'm lying. Ethel's got a platinum warrant. Arrow has his gold. We're on our way to our platinum. That's it. So that helps keep track of that. And then I also put it into, as soon as I've written it in that book, I have an exact copy of that on my laptop, which is an Excel document, because you need that to apply for agility warrants. So I have a replica on an Excel document with all that information. Again, you can get that. It's an agility warrant claim form, and you can find that on the Kennel Club website as well. And that is what you have to submit when you want to apply for a warrant, when you've got enough points for the different agility warrants. And also when you grade up, you need to remember the last class that you won to grade up. So that just really helps you to keep track of that, so that you can definitely grade up easily. And obviously points, you can grade up on points if you want. So recording your results is super important. And I also write these on the back of all the rosettes because mems, for one, I like to remember the class that I got all my rosettes from. It's really cute, especially we've got Earls and Ethels now there. Obviously we lost Earl and Ethel is retired, so now I'm not competing actively with them. It's just nice to have their rosettes, it's cute. And it's also just another way to record your progress if you'd rather use that than a record book, I guess. But yeah, no, I would get the record book and put it online on the Excel document as well. And just keep doing that after every show. That's part of my kind of post-show routine, like either the night of or the day after, if I can't be arsed when I get home from that show that day. I will sit down, and it takes like less than an hour, and I will just write on my rosettes, write in my record book, then copy it over to the Excel document, and then I will also put that Excel document on a memory stick on a USB, because I don't want to lose it, because I can't. If I had to rewrite all of that, I would literally die. So yeah, I have that backed up on a memory stick as well, which is super important. And that is my post-show ritual as far as results goes. And then I try and find some room in my room to put the rosettes up and put the trophies, which is great. I need to do an updated room tour really, because it kind of has changed a little bit, but most of you have probably seen on previous Instagram stories and stuff that my room is covered in rosettes and trophies. You can see a few behind me, I guess, and certificates. But it's becoming a problem, and I have a box full of rosettes as well. What I want to do is go to the IKEA or the Range and get I've got one over there. It's like a plastic tube to stack rosettes in. I think that's a great way to save space and still get to display it, because it looks like a rainbow down it. It's so cute. So I need more of those. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. That is all the tips for your first show, but just enjoy it. It's amazing. If I'm at a show, come up to me, ask me any questions. Again, DM me. My DMs are always open. And follow me on all the socials. I will put those here on the YouTube video and down below on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'm active on all of those most days, especially Instagram, pretty much every day. So make sure you follow all of those. Follow the podcast. Obviously, subscribe to YouTube so you don't miss these videos of the podcast. And also follow the podcast on Apple and Spotify so you don't miss another episode. So I upload every Wednesday at 8 p.m, as most of you probably know. So keep sending me your feedback for the podcast. Episode ideas you'd like me to cover in the future, guests you'd like me to have on, and what you'd like me to talk about with them as well. Keep sending me lots of ideas. I really appreciate those. And leave a rating or review on Apple or Spotify. Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That would mean the world to me. Hopefully 5 stars. If you think it's 1 star, maybe just keep it to yourself. Tell someone, vent, write it in a journal, whatever. But maybe don't put that there. I'm joking. Anyway, that would mean the absolute world to me, and I will speak to you all next Wednesday. Bye.